How's it going, bold and beautiful? Thank you all for tuning in tonight. Tonight's word magic is on the word enemy. So, of course, when we talk about the word enemy, we will be taking down a path of, hey, Teardra, we'll be taking down a path of looking at Satan and the devil, that kind of stuff. It's actually one of my favorite topics. I like to talk about how the devil and Satan is not what it appears to be. But anyway, we're going to talk about the enemy. And guess what? You probably already know what I'm going to say. It's you. It's you. So we're going to look at that and we're going to break that word enemy apart and we're going to go deep inside it and get some understanding of what it really means. Hey. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So, of course, the etymology of the word enemy means adversary. It means demon. It means devil. And in the Bible, it means Satan. So, if we're talking about the enemy, I'm going to write this on the board so that we don't forget what we're talking about here. That means we're talking about the devil. Okay? Enemy equal devil, right? But another way to say devil in the Greek language is diablo. So I'm going to write that so you can see that. You may have seen me say that before. I don't remember how to spell diablo. Oh, yes, I do. It's Diablo. All right, so now we know that the enemy is the devil and the devil is Diablo and Diablo is double. That means that the devil represents anything that is deuce, two. Now, what does all of this have to do with you? It has to do with you because you're double. It has to do with duality. Now, I'm not going to break down duality because I did a whole, hey Bernadette, I did a whole other video. You can go onto my YouTube page, scroll all you like. You'll see all the password magics. One of them is on duality. So I'm not going to be breaking down duality, but I wanted us to understand that that's what the enemy really is. The enemy really is double, or understanding what duality really means. And a lot of times when we really don't understand or can't comprehend duality, then we can't really comprehend what the devil really is, which it really is your inner me. It's really your inner me, but it looks like it's your outer self because it's duality. Okay? I'm sure you've heard that term before. You've probably heard somebody say, your inner me, your enemy is your enemy. Your enemy is your inner me. But I'm going to show you how that word really does mean that. I'm going to give you another angle for you to look at it, okay? Because the word enemy also means to be adverse, or it means adversary. An adversary means to be adverse. So what does adverse mean? Adverse means to oppose. Adverse means to oppose or to face. Adverse means to oppose or to face something. So if it means to face something, this is the same as you facing a mirror. When you get up in the morning and you go to wash your face and you oppose yourself in the mirror. That's how we know that what people call the devil is really just a mirror reflection of yourself. Because that's literally what adverse means. Adverse means to face yourself. It means to face or to oppose. Okay? So that's how we know that has to do with reflection. So that has a lot to do with self-reflection. Okay, so we could say that what we call the enemy is really self-reflection, or lack of it. When you lack self-reflection, yes, you are going to have all these ideas in your head that you have all these enemies. You're going to have an idea in your head that the white man is your enemy. You're going to have an idea in your head that the black man is your enemy. You're going to have an idea in your head that the devil is your enemy, that Satan is your enemy, that Christians are your enemy, that women are your enemy. That you're just going to have all these ideas in your head that there's things that oppose you when there's really none. There's only you. And I'm going to show you also how the word enemy tells you that as well. Okay? If you can understand that when you face something, you oppose a mirror, that the mirror image is just a reflection of what's already there. That's how you know that it's really on you. Okay? Let me see. Thank you for the information you provide us. No problem. Thank you, Revis. I love doing this. I'm passionate about words. This is my favorite thing to do. I do it in my sleep. Like literally, I dream about words. Okay. So the other thing about the word adversary is I wanted to show you that there's really nothing to face but your own I am. And that's actually hidden in the word adversaries. Adversaries. Okay. It has the word Aries in it. And the motto for Aries is I am. So that's how we know that adversaries really breaks down to mean to oppose, because adverse means to oppose. It means to oppose the I am. To oppose I am, which is yourself. Ta-da! Okay, so adversaries is adverse. It's adverse Aries, and Aries is the I am. So it really means to oppose I am. So when you have adversaries, you're really opposing yourself. You're opposing your own I am. You're opposing your own truth. You're lying to yourself about something. And that is what the so-called devil, Diablo, or Satan really exposes. I wrote a whole blog called she devil, if you're interested in the feminine aspect of the devil. But it's on my website, blackfirenation.com. Okay, if you go on there, click the blog button, you'll see a whole bunch of them. But anyway, yeah, so when you think you have adversaries, there's really only you. So therefore, you are really opposing yourself. You're opposing your own I am. You're opposing your own truth. You are lying to yourself about something. And that is how you manifest a so-called enemy. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you, even though I just showed you, I could show you so many different ways how this word is really talking about you. But I'm going to show you another way how the word enemy itself, in the word enemy, there's a mirror. That's how I know. When I look at words, when I see the way certain words, letters are arranged, that will tell me that if that word has something to do with self-reflection or mirroring. I also do that when I do name interpretations. I can look in your name and see, oh, this means that you're supposed to learn about mirroring because you have these letters set up in your name a certain way. But the word enemy itself, it has a mirror reflection in it right there with the E-N-E. So what do I mean by that? I mean that it says E-N-E no matter which way you look at it. Either way, it's saying E-N-E, which means these letters are just reflecting each other. Okay? So E-N-E makes that what? That N sound. That N sound. N. So therefore, enemy is really in my or my in. Okay? If we say that it's my in, which I literally just had this epiphany while I was talking. If we say that it's my in, then now it sounds like Mayan, which means illusion, or Maya means illusion. Meaning that anything that you think is your enemy, and you think these things that are outside of you is your enemy, it's an illusion. It's an illusion. Okay? Let me see y'all comments. You are your own enemy. That's right, King Cosmo. Not only are you your own enemy, you are your only enemy. You are your only enemy. You get in your own way. There is no one or nothing in your way except your own thoughts. Okay? So, that's the word enemy. Now, let's go into what it says in the Bible, or some of the words in the Bible that kind of hides what it really says an enemy is. I looked up the Greek word for enemy, and I'm going to show you what it is, and then I'm going to move the letters around and show you what it says. Okay, and then I'm going to tell you how I know that that's what it says. But in the Greek language, this is the word for enemy. In the Greek language, this is the word for enemy. I'm going to move these letters around. Let me see, how did I do that? Oh, look, now it says teachers. Now it says teachers. What does that mean? Let me write this up here so we don't forget what we're talking about. Okay. That's telling us that the enemy, this is the Greek word, but if we move the letters around, it sounds like the word teachers is in there. That means that anything that you think is your enemy is actually there to teach you. Anything that you think is your enemy is actually your teacher. Okay. How else do I know that? I know that because the word teach means to point. The etymology of the word teach means to point. So therefore, a teacher is a pointer, and that is exactly what so-called Satan or the adversary does, because another word for Satan is the accuser. And the accuser is somebody that points and says, hey, look at that. Okay? Now, that could be interpreted multiple ways about Satan getting you to say, hey, look at that, because Satan also plays the role of so-called distracting you, but it's only distracting you based on your own desires. So it's still only showing you yourself. Okay? Everything that's around you is always showing you yourself. So that's one way we could look at enemy. Anything that you consider as your enemy. So next time you have it in your head and you think that somebody's your enemy, replace it with the word teacher, because that's what it really means. Okay? Now, in the Hebrew language, the word enemy comes from this word. Well, it comes from multiple words, but I picked out the ones that I could hear another word in it. Okay? The word enemy in the Hebrew language comes from this word, S-H-U-W-R. Well, when I click, there's a little button that you can click and you can actually hear. How do you say that in Hebrew? Because I want to hear it. And it sounds like shore in the English language. This is Hebrew, this is English. So the word enemy sounds like shore in the English language. Now that has to do with confidence. What does that mean? That means that everything that you call your enemy, which is, excuse me, my mouth is dry. That means that anything that you call your enemy is also there to test your confidence. Hi, Daya. Peace. It's also there to test your confidence. Okay? That means that what you call Satan or your adversary or devil is really there, or you have manifested things into your life that appears like your enemy, that appears like a war, that appears like chaos, to test your confidence level, to test you to see, do you really believe what you claim to believe? Because most of the time we be lying to ourselves. We lie about how confident we are, which is really the ego, which some people call that arrogance. I actually think that there's a difference between being arrogant and confident. But anyway, you're going to be tested on, all the bravado that you pound on your chest and you say, I'm this. And every time you say, I'm this and I'm that and I'm this and well, guess what? You about to be tested on that. And you're not about to be tested just because the universe just want to mess with you. It's to show you yourself. It's to show you that you don't really mean that. You ain't really there yet, like you claim that you are. Okay, so what I'm saying is that what you call the so-called enemy, it plays a role in testing you because it literally represents you manifesting the physical, the physical manifestation of what was in your mind. So that thing manifests in order for you to see yourself, and in order for you to actually see or feel, is that really true about me? Okay. Let me see. I'm reading y'all messages. Truth is exposed when we face with adversity. Absolutely, Jessica. Absolutely. If you have not read Outwitting the Devil, that is my favorite book. As a matter of fact, my metaphysics class that I'm taking, I was required to write a 6,000 word paper on something, and I chose to write about war and peace, which has a lot to do with the devil. But anyway, I use that book Outwitting. I quoted so much from that book Outwitting the Devil. But that's one of my favorite books. So if you haven't read that, you don't even have to buy it. You can go on YouTube and just listen to it. But that book breaks down what Jessica just asked about truth being exposed when we're faced with adversity. Okay. Yes, Jessica. Then you know. Okay. So, what else do I have here? I'm going to show you how the word enemy also has to do with the illusion. Like I just said, it has to do with the illusion of there being many. Because look, let's look at the word enemy. If we move the letters around, it's MENEY. Okay. So I took the word enemy, I moved the letters around, and now it says many. Sounds like money, doesn't it? Yeah, because it definitely has to do with money. Definitely has to do with money. But right now, I want to focus on how it's also the word many. Now, the reason why this would also mean that is because that is an illusion. There are not many. There are not many. There are not many of anything. There is only one. There's only one. Guess what? There is only one life. There's only one life. And I'm not talking about us having individual lives. I'm talking about all of our lives are commingled, which means that all of our lives create the story of everything that happens on earth. Therefore, there's really only one life. There's only one life. There's only one mind. What I got written down. Oh, and there's only one body. We are one. We are one body. We are one mind, and we are one life. We are one being. So the illusion that there's many comes from what you call the so-called enemy, which is the trickery of the so-called Satan or the devil, the double, Diablo, duality. All I got to do with duality. Okay? So when you think that there's many of this and many of that, there's really not. It appears like it is, but it's really only one. Okay. And what does that have to do with money? Because Satan, the so-called energy of Satan, which represents the lie, but the lie is also the truth. But again, that's duality. But anyway, it's the lie about the illusion of money. Okay, because money is no different than this bottle of water. Money is no different than this stapler. Money is no different than this piece of paper. How is that so? Because it's just a product. It's a product of energy. It's a product of energy. It's what is birthed in the seen as a result of what is happening in the unseen, which is why the word money also means energy. Okay, so the reason why the word money will be enemy is because of the illusion of money. And that is the trick that majority of us, probably 99.9, well, what do they say? 2% of the elite run the world. Well, yeah, those people, they know that none of this money stuff ain't real. But we are the ones that's under this spell of the illusion of money. Okay, but there really is money is just it's no different than anything else. This is a book. It's no different than that. It's just a product. Okay. Jessica said that's why talk is cheap, because time reveals all truth, especially when one is faced with adversity. That is so true, Jessica. Talk is definitely cheap, and that is, to me, that is one of the differences between people, between a person that's just running their mouth out of their ego and a person that's actually confident in what they're saying. Because someone who is just talking about it and their reflections, I'll call it, their reflections don't actually look like what they're talking about, then somebody's lying, which means that they just talking out, they just running their mouth. That it means that they're not really confident in what they're saying. If they were really confident in what they were saying, their life would bear the fruit of that. It's simple as that, y'all. It's simple as that. That is why you cannot really hide anything. You can't hide anything. All you have to do is look at a person's life and their manifestations, and you'll be able to flat out see if they just running their mouth or are they actually confident in what they're saying. Okay? So, I'm going to say one more thing about this word enemy, and then we're going to be done for this evening. They don't add up. Exactly, Jessica. The truth always reveals itself in your manifestations. Always. Okay. So anyway, so the other thing about the enemy, right? Or what you call the devil, because the word enemy also means devil, is that when you're talking about something being a devil, that means that it's double, because it's diablo, which means that it's a pair. And that means that it appears. So this is just backing up what I just said about things being an illusion. Okay? So, this is the enemy, and the enemy represents double or diablo or duality. And when something is in double, that means it's a pair. Well, that means it appears. Because it means if it appears, that means that it's actually two. You just don't see the other one with your physical eyes. It's there. It's no different than air or wind. Wind is there. You just can't see it. You breathing it in, right? Okay. So all physical manifestations, everything that you see with your two eyes appears. That's the illusion. That's the fiction. That's the so-called lie. However, it's a manifestation of truth because it came out of our mind. So you see how it's a lie and the truth at the same time? It's a lie because it's a fiction, but it's the truth because it came out of your head and your heart and your vibration and your energy, however you want to look at it. Okay, so again, that's duality. So if you are confused and you need some insight or understanding about duality, go through my YouTube page. I did a video on it, I don't know, maybe about a month ago. And maybe, that'll help you get some understanding. Because I know it took me a long time to really grasp duality. So I'm not saying this to y'all because I think y'all are slow or stupid or anything. I just know it took me a long time to be able to grasp it. And even sometimes now I be scratching my head like, well, wait a minute, but it's this, but it's that, but it's this. Yeah, because it's both. All right. So anyway, I'm finished here unless y'all got some comments, questions, concerns for me. Other than that, I'm out, and hopefully I will see you back here next week, next Monday for Word Magic. Please subscribe to my page if you have not already done so. Subscribe to my YouTube so that you can get the notification when I come back on. Okay? All right, y'all. Peace.